It's chilly down here. Alright, let me readjust this, let me get a couple lights on, and we'll jump right in here. There we go. Alrighty. Hello, YouTube. So, I guess first and foremost, can you hear me okay? As there's one person here, so hello, one person. Thanks for waiting. Obviously starting up a little bit early. And fun little fact, if you have no idea what I'm currently have around me, this little guy is actually a BMW Group exclusive from the Mini Days. So, yay. Fun times. Alrighty, so thanks for everyone that's joining in. Obviously, we're starting up a little bit early. And again, just want to double check. Can everyone hear me okay? Let me know in chat if this is coming through clean and clear. I don't have anything. Perfect. Love it. Thank you, Kevin. All right. So, I have a nice... I'm super high tech. I have all my quick notes right here to get me started. I have a screen with a lot more information to pull up as needed. And let's start with the big thing that actually has nothing to do with BMW, but has everything to do with this channel. We just passed 10,000 subscribers, which is super awesome. Thank you for you guys for, doing that, because without you, that wouldn't be a thing. So, yeah, thank you. All right, so let's dive in headfirst into this good stuff. There's been a lot of little news coming out from BMW. If you don't follow it, the greatest way to get this information is through bmwusanews.com. This is where all their official stuff. So basically, if it's not there, it's not official. You can always get some other ones. Obviously, there are other guys out there like Beamer File. They're a great little spot to get it. And they kind of get a little inside information too, which is great. Hopefully we can do the same thing here a little bit more for you guys. And again, I apologize. I am freezing in this basement. It's so cold down here. I'm amazed my breath is not just flowing out of me. So, again, from the top, 10,000 subscribers to this channel. Big thank you for all you guys for doing that. And for anyone watching that is not subscribed, please do so, because all it does is help, I'm not gonna lie, I would love to be the first BMW dealership based thing that can actually say we have 100,000 subscribers. I mean, how great would it be to have that play plaque behind in this kind of situation and say, hey, this is because you guys, because it is. Anyway, into BMWs. So obviously, if you guys, anyone watching this is new to this thing, I kind of talk about BMW news. I run my own channel for BMW North America and BMW Fort Washington. Thanks, Kevin. And I kind of like to, if I find something that's interesting, or I find you guys might find interesting, I like to bring it out to you and show you, hey, here's what's happening with BMW today. And, sometimes it's really cool information. Other times people go, huh? But first and foremost, really big one. As many people may know, BMW and a lot of manufacturers in general are sort of going away from manual transmissions. Right now, the only ones you can get them on are the M2, M3, and M4 in rear-wheel drive only, which sort of stinks. However, something happened that was completely unexpected and wonderful. So as you guys probably know, the Z4 is a shared chassis with Toyota Supra. Now the Supra in 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder come with a manual transmission option. BMW, for whatever reason, decided, we don't really want that. And then something clicked. They heard enough people and saw the people buying manual Supras, and they said, you know what, we should really get on that bandwagon. And now it's official, the Z4 6-speed manual transmission, Z4 M40i, is coming. It is a huge deal. It is starting production next month, so March of 2024. Huge deal. Manual Z4. We've been waiting for this for a long time, and I know I personally am. And it gets a couple other things too. So if you ever go online, you'll see that you can actually build this right now on BMWUSA.com. So the Z4, you'd have to get a specific option. You'll see there's a 6-speed manual option when you go through the actual builder itself. That adds an entire package. I can't remember exactly how much the package costs off the top of my head. I had to look it up again. I think it's somewhere around like either $4,000 or $5,000. It's not too much on top of it, but it gets a whole bunch of great things. So it's not just a 6-speed manual transmission. It also gets a retuned suspension, retuned adaptive suspension. Because it's the M40 version, that means it gets adaptive M suspension. This one's specifically tuned for this setup itself. And for the first time on a non-M car, gets an actual staggered front to rear 1920 setup for the wheels, which is huge. I mean, absolutely amazing. The dynamics of this thing are off the charts for a manual transmission, and it's been a long time since we had a manual Z4, and now we have it again, baby. Yeah. So if it's not obvious, I'm really excited for this thing. All right, so that's the one thing. Of course, other side of it, 2025 now means that we're pulling into, in case you didn't realize, kind of the second LCI, if you will, of the 4 Series. So the 2025 4 Series is getting a complete makeover, or sorry, I shouldn't say a makeover. Modified headlights, so they get some newer looks, a little more vertical things. So instead of having the kind of lazy eye, halo eyes, if as some people have them known as, it's instead pulling in a little more aggressive styling. The M4 especially is getting a lot of the CS treatment. So it used to be the special CS M4 treatment's now coming to the standard M4, which is really nice. And those laser taillights, still yet to be seen. They might start to offer it on the standard 4 Series, but I know it's now available on the M4 right out the bat. So if you haven't seen those, especially, go and look up the laser taillights for BMW's M4 CS. That's going to be standard. Or you look up the newer options for the 2025 4 Series. That one with the M gallery underneath shows you those taillights. They are fantastic looking taillights. Like they are really cool, extremely crisp, and just a great taillight altogether. It's going to be instantly recognizable from the back. Although I'm sure people that got the M4 CS might be a little pissed off with that, because they're like, wait, I thought these were special taillights, and now it's just kind of getting into the standard M4 as well. But so that's that. Another massive thing, of course, is BMW's i5, following in the steps of the i4, is now getting, let me see here, where do they have it in here? Nope. Oh, yeah, it is right here. Ta-da. So, third electric variant of the i5 now coming out, just like the i4. It came out with the eDrive 40 and the M50 for the i4, and then after a little while, they basically made an all-wheel drive version of the 40, so the xDrive 40, a little bit more power, dual motor, good setup. They're doing the same thing with the i5 now, in really quick succession too. So they have the i5 eDrive 40, that's rear-wheel drive. The i5 M60, that's the super high horsepower, nearly 600 horsepower, 590 to 93, depending on how you're measuring it, horsepower. And now they're coming out with the i5 xDrive 40. So that one's going to have, again, 2 motors, not as powerful as the M60, although it doesn't really bridge the gap same way as the i4 does. So it has basically the same setup as the i4, where it gets 389 pound, or 80, oh sorry, wait, come back, chat. Please let it go. Love that, love screen name, nice job. Have you been hearing anything of any BMW software issues hey, come back. Looking at you, chat. That's plaguing its models. With the 4 Series specifically, or the i5? Out of curiosity, please let it go. That's just fun to say that name. So we haven't really come across many major issues as of right now. Any idea if BMW i5 will get the new media apps such as Tidal, Amazon Music? Yes. So they are doing some stuff as of right now. I believe it's not going to be just the UK, it's going to be throughout. But as they're going to start to push a lot more, there's going to be a massive kind of move for more feature integration, especially in iDrive 8.5, because it has a slightly better GPU. So that's never a bad thing. Better graphics are never a bad thing. And so that's going to come out. Exactly when it's going to come out is a little bit yet to be seen. I think they're focusing a little bit more on iDrive 9 at this moment with its digital standard and digital premium packages. I'll go over that a little bit later in this as well. But please let it go to answer your question. There have been a couple issues, not with iDrive 8.5 so much, but with iDrive 9. There's been a little bit of a plaguing with the move to the Android Automotive system behind it, with startup times for one. So you get in the car, start it up, how long it takes to basically get moving. We've seen it vary between about 10 seconds on the fast side to as long as about 58 seconds, which is quite frankly a little long for what it should be. Yes, APW. That is true. The over-the-air update, software update, will have the newer features for the 2024 i5, warning you about stop signs, red lights, and actually shows up in the little instrument cluster. It's kind of cool how it shows up too. And give you a little more information as you can go. Oh, and yes, I can test that out in a video for you, absolutely. Let me know if you want it to be more of a short or if you want me to make a feature-length video. If it's feature-length, it probably won't be longer than about 2 or 3 minutes total. But I can definitely do that. But anyway, please let it go just to get back to you. iDrive 9 has also had a couple issues, maybe about like 10% of total units having issues with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto kind of just cutting out wherever it can. Like you'll be going, everything's just fine, and then suddenly just talking in the middle of a phone call, you could be in the middle of directions, maybe Siri or Google Assistant starts talking to you, and next thing you know, Bob's your uncle, and you lost connection, and then it goes off, and then like 10 seconds later it starts up. Sometimes it doesn't start back up again at all. It's, again, I can't say super frequent, but enough that we've had to tell BMW North America about it and tell them, hey, just so you know, this seems to be happening. I activated lane change is coming to iDrive 8 and 8.5. I have that's later in this. Starting, I'll actually jump right to that right now. So, for those of you who aren't aware, iActivated lane change was something that was introduced on the new 5 series, both standard and i5, that allows you, when you use driver assistance professional on the highway, second you go into Assist Plus, they give you the ability to not only go hands-free, but be able to, under the right circumstances, literally change lanes simply by looking at your right or left mirror, and it will change lanes for you. Really cool, very effective. For anyone who's trying it out and testing it, if you go to a dealership to give us a shot yourself, super cool thing to see. Make sure that they have the system. So iDrive 8.5 and Driver Assist Professional. They need to have an active ESA, which activates it, and then you have to have an active destination on the that's off the highway to make that work too. So if you can be on the highway, still have a Driver Assist Professional highway assistant, all that good stuff. It just won't do the iActivated lane change unless you have a destination in. Why that is, I'm not entirely sure. I feel like that's sort of a missed opportunity because you could just simply have it. Although the limitation on exactly when it can work makes sense to me personally, just because how many times are you in a car and you kind of check your blind spot and it might go, oh, you want to turn that way? Yeah. You're like, no, we don't want that. So being prompted by the system when it's an option might be a slightly better way to go about it. Thanks, please let it go. Alrighty. So let's see here. What did I just do? 6-speed manual Z4 we went over. Oh yeah. In case you didn't know, because I didn't go over it earlier, I don't think I did. Manual Z4 now is same engine as the standard M40, so plenty of things. Oh, let's see here. Okay, what we got here? Here in the UK, we don't get the eSIM function, but we used to have a second eSIM, so it'll be a fun way. That's me using the hotspot in the car. You know, that's actually a very good question. I'm not sure if the onboard thing will be used as dash cam in parking mode. I don't think it. So, Kevin, to cover your question, and for those of you who are watching who see us after the fact and don't see the live chat that's happening right here, Kevin asked, here in the UK, we don't get to use the eSIM function, but we have to use a second SIM via SIM card reader. It's a fun little thing. They basically literally have, it almost looks like a key thing, put a SIM card in that sort of acts as it. And then I believe, if I remember right, it links to the car via USB, or no, not the USB, Bluetooth, and then that's the way it acts as part of it, and then it can be, used as a hotspot. But he asked, can this be used as a hotspot when the car is turned off, or for use in the dash cam in parking mode? So, Kevin, as of right now, it doesn't work when the car is off. But with the newer systems, iDrive 8 and 8.5 specifically, and iDrive 9 now, they have as an option when you get Parking Assist Professional package, they have a... oh wow, it's a gigantic clock that just showed up over here. They do have a theft alarm thing, so that uses the 360 camera that will warn you in the My BMW app and give you access to that. It's not technically... it's not really the same as, say, Sentry Mode for, like, Tesla's Sentry Mode is, but it works in a similar concept as if someone comes up to the car and tries to, like, open the door, it'll take that, or if there's, like, a slight bump to the car. It's not a crash monitor, mind you, but it's meant for kind of people movement. In which case, it'll give us up to a 20-second video and give you that from all 4 cameras or just front, rear, side, whatever you indicate in your drive recorder app in the car. That will allow you to do it whatever you want with it and make it, work. So that they sort of have that covered now to act as a theft deterrent at the very least, but it's still not a full-blown like parking cam mode like Tesla does right now. Part of that being, Tesla obviously is full electric, so they can just simply tell you, hey, this is going to drain the battery. The problem when you have that on anything that's not an electric car, it's hard to use that as an excuse because now you're running off a small lithium-ion battery, and that's part of your auto start stop system. If that's the thing running, it could kill because they're significantly smaller batteries than what's in a full EV. They probably would want to have the system in both gas and electric cars, and because they can't really sustain that long term in a gas car because of how much smaller the battery packs are, to run a system like that, like, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but in Teslas they can use sometimes 3 to 4% of a battery, and that's of like anywhere between a 66 to an 88 to 100 kilowatt hour battery. So that's a decent amount of energy used, and the little tiny start batteries for the car itself, plus the lithium-ion battery that's used for the idle start-stop system, isn't going to be able to sustain that kind of thing for long-term, let alone multiple stops, parking long-term. So I'm pretty sure that's the main reason why they're not making that transition to like a full park Sentry mode, just because it's not sustainable, and they make their cars through both EV and electric and non-electric cars. So because whatever they want to do to one, they want to be able to give to the other. That's sort of why they're not going with both. So hope that answers your question. Let's see here. Let's go with Chris next. Any idea if the 2024 iForce will be getting a 40 miles per hour above hands-free update? I'm really curious about that myself. I'm going to say, just based on my instinct, no, only because they're still running off the older system in it. It seems like everything that has the hands-free option starts with the excuse me. Everything that has the hands-free option seems to start with the 4K front-facing camera, and with the exception of that being the X1 and X2, they still get the 4K front-facing camera, but don't have hands-free yet. It seems like they're keeping that primarily for the higher-end cars, so 5 Series, 7 Series, X5, X6, X7, and I believe that's coming to the XM soon as well. I know Highway Assistant is standard on the XM, but in the press release they didn't say that it's going to get the eye-activated lane change for 2024 which is kind of interesting. I found that strange considering the XM is so flippin' expensive. But yeah, so that's that. And Mario, I have the option to pick up the new 2024 M440. Perfectly option for what I want. My question is, should I hold off for the 2025 LCI? Honestly, that's only if you really find the aesthetic changes to be worthwhile to you. So if you look BMWUSA.com or BMWUSAnews.com, excuse me, BMWUSAnews.com, they have pictures of the new 2024 LCI. It's really just minor tweaks to the headlights, taillights, a little bit on the inside, and they're moving to I believe they're going to be moving to an iDrive 8.5. That hasn't been confirmed yet on the press release, but it would make sense that they're going to do that. Now, something else that I'm sure is not on everyone's mind, but the implication for this is something actually kind of cool. So, because this is sort of the LCI 2, the second refresh of the 4 Series since they came out with the new one, that means there's something else happening. Because the 3 Series always comes out before the 4 Series. Or if you've been following BMW for a little bit, the 2019 3 Series came out and they still had the old 4 Series. Well, the 4 Series is getting an LCI, the 3 Series already went through its LCI, it's not getting another one. Which is interesting because that means that a new 3 Series is going to come out, likely as a 2025, maybe as a 2026 model year. And I'll be curious because I believe they're going to be going twin ways. Yes. Kevin, you're 100% right. I didn't even think about the videos itself. They did show the shots of the inside. Yes, it is running 8.5. So, in that case, yes. Now the i4 won't be the only 4 Series running a iDrive or iDrive 8.5. It'll be all the 4 Series across the board. Supposedly, there's going to be a new one for BMW's M cars too. I'll be really curious to see how they're going to implement that. Just because, like right now, I particularly like the side-scrolling M display. That's in the M3 and M4 and M2 right now. I'd love to see how that's going to implement itself as an iDrive 8.5 base instead of the iDrive 8 base. But again, the super interesting thing of all that is that means that a new 3 Series is coming. So there's rumors right now. Again, this is only rumors. It's not proven out there that the new i3 is going to be coming out on the Neue Klasse platform, so the brand new electric car. Although I don't think it's not. I don't think. I guarantee they're not going to be making as a solely electric 3 Series in the coming future. So they're going to be making 2 different ways. So there's going to be, at least by what they seem to be saying with the Neue Klasse, an electric from the ground up. So instead of being a shared platform, they're going to start making it as its own Neue Klasse, completely electric from the ground up lineup, and then they're going to have a secondary gas powered, and I believe that's also going to power the plug-in hybrid side of things as well, next to it. So are BMWs ever going are BMWs ever going to allow you to customize the sort of order shortcuts of 8.5? I would hope they do. It just would make sense for them to do that, because if you do something in a past iteration, I don't know why they wouldn't carry it over to a new one. Again, I highly doubt that BMW North America, let alone BMW AG, is looking at my particular videos about this. But if they are, guys, please bring back some of the customization parts of iDrive 8 and 8.5, of iDrive 8.5 and 9 especially, because there's some massive little downfalls on those fronts where people used to be able to do basic stuff, and now it's not there. So if you're listening to this, watching this in the future, please make that change. It can't take much. Right. So, out of curiosity, everyone that's watching right now, are any of you guys BMW owners at this moment? And if you do, let me know in the chat. Just because, super curious. Or you guys are sort of really interested in BMWs, and that's the reason that you're chiming in here. Either way, happy to have you here. Glad to have people on the chat. Ooh, 24iX. Nice, EF. I like it. Let's see here. Hello. I am fantastic. Thanks so much, Mike, for asking. Ooh, iX M60 malfunction. Is that saying that in the car itself, or is your malfunction, is the malfunction just something you've kind of noticed where it's like not turning on when you're backing up, or is it an actual error in your acoustic pedestrian system? Interesting. Have you been able to take it to the to your dealer to just say like, hey, something's up with this, like the. And also curious, did you get snow where you were, and is it since it snowed that you lost functionality in it? Just because of where the speaker is, it's possible that you might have gotten snow in it, and it might have short circuited because of where the connectors are for it. I actually found that on my i4. I briefly had that. I just got it replaced. It was kind of a interesting little thing. And ooh, 23740. Please let go. Nice car. Good choice. Beautiful vehicle. And a 2024 X550E. How are you liking your 50? APW, how are you liking your 50E? Like, and I'm curious to see just where are you in the country, and are you seeing about the 10 to 15% decrease in your electric only range in the car compared to what you had when you had warmer months? And nice. Nice, Kevin. So yep, know about the production for the G20 going through. Although, again, the only thing I'm curious about is what they're going to do, because as of right now, they're not doing anything as a full electric for the 3 Series platform itself. I know it shares a lot with the i4 altogether, but I wonder what they're going to do, any major changes for that kind of LCI2, if you will. And yeah, I know they don't call it the LCI2, they just call it the refresh, or they might I doubt they'll try and pass it off as a brand new car, just because, I mean, you know, we see the cars. We know they're not brand new from the ground up. You know, that'd be an interesting idea. To the My Mode color themes. Now, how much would you like it if they started? I don't know about you. I personally would love to see if they sort of made it a thing where you could, instead of using pre-made ones, where personally you can kind of do your own things altogether. I would love to see if they would actually make it so you could actually create and save your own separate mode itself. Like, for instance, instead of just simple, you know, personal, sports, efficient, expressive, relax, etc. I would love to see if they had like 1 or 2 custom slots where you could say, hey, I want this gauge cluster with this head-up display. I want the transmission to be set for sport. I want DSC to be completely off. I want it to be launch mode. Like, I want to see if they would ever make that situation, because that'd be absolutely awesome. So yes, and sorry, you guys are actually like throwing a lot here, so I greatly appreciate you guys. Awesome job. And 5,500 miles so far. Nice. Epic. Oh my god, 85% of them all electric. Dude, epic. Nice job. All right, so out of curiosity, as a small challenge for you, we've had some people with the previous 45E go 1,100 miles solely on electric, same tank of gas. I'd be curious to see how far you could get. As of right now, X550E, I have someone else taking this challenge that goes to our dealership, and right now they're sitting at 946 miles, last I checked 2 days ago, and they're still on their same tank of gas. And the only reason I know that is because they send me a picture. As you know, the trip computers tell you when you last refilled or refueled. So because of that, I literally have the date of when they last refueled. So I know they haven't put a single drop in it in almost 4 months. So I'm really curious to see how far that's going to go, because I think that's just a fun thing to do. Alrighty. And Kevin, that'd be nice if they make the same things for the 3 Series as the 4 Series. I just find it strange that they would do the 4 Series first and not the 3 Series, because typically the 3 Series gets the update and the 4 Series follows. It's not usual that they do the 4 Series so much sooner than the 3 Series in comparison. So I'll be curious to see how that goes out all in all. But yeah, so that'd be interesting. And yes, Air Console update came to 2024 IX in Canada. So yeah, it is 1 year free. They haven't told us exactly how much it's going to be. So if I get the information on exactly what they're going to start to charge that after the year free, I'll be curious to see that. Also, TiVo for the markets that got it, that also came as an over-the-air update if you had a slightly earlier model. I believe that's a year 2, though, if I remember correctly. Now, interestingly enough, the iDrive 9 setups, they actually don't offer that unless you get the premium. So you get 3 months free of a digital premium. Actually, let me start off. So I did a video on this thing. Let me go back a second. I did a video on iDrive 9 and some of the new things that's going. And please let it go. I love the way they're going too. I really do. I think their design language has really gotten nice. I know a lot of people are still kind of half and half on the whole, beaver teeth kidney grill of the 4 Series. I was not a fan of it at first, but I really grew to like it a lot over the years. Now, APW, interestingly enough, they do bundle the YouTube option in iDrive 9, but it's part of the connected, not connected drive. So, yeah, iDrive 9 basically comes in 2 kind of digital trims, if you will. So you have the digital standard, which gives you a lot of the things you'll need. So an interesting fact, iDrive 9 cars, as of right now, you have iDrive 8, 8.5, 7. All those cars give you 4 years of connectivity, and then after that, you pay yearly for it. Interestingly enough, with the Android Automotive System, the basic remote services, as well as remote software updates, are included as long as technically capable. No subscription. I find that to be especially interesting and a definite change. From what BMW has been doing for a while. Although an interesting side note of it, they've made a lot of stuff standard with the standard connectivity, including things like you get real-time traffic updates, but only when you put in a destination, and it's only on your route in iDrive 9 with the standard, the digital standard package. So it's not like right now, if you get your live traffic updates, you can literally zoom out and see every bit of traffic in the entire area. Instead, they're basically still downloading it, but only on the route that you're taking and the various alternative routes that are options for you. So I find that to be an interesting way to kind of lower bandwidth altogether, but still give you exactly the service you want without paying extra for it. Now, you can still get the expanded services if you get the digital premium. If you're brand new to the car, you do get 3 months free of that. That gives you the 3 extra drive modes, gives you extra connectivity stuff, videos, games, all that, Air Console, all that is part of that. But they're doing it right now it's starting off as, if you're buying it after the fact, as a $9.99 a month thing. And here's the other thing about it. Connected drive services, so like the ones you do every after 4 years every year, those ones you're not automatically recharged with that every year. You literally pay per year each time as it comes to the end of it. Now, buddy of mine. Now, interesting side of that is when it comes to the digital premium service, that's $9.99 a month, and it's automatically recurring. So if you are getting an X1 or X2 and you sign up for that, just know that it is a recurring one, and it will keep going until you tell it to stop. And it's similar to basically everything else that's online right now. So like if you paid for YouTube or YouTube Premium or Netflix, Disney Plus, whatever it is, if you pay for 1 month or 1 year, whatever it might be, if you cancel it during that time, you still get it for the rest of that duration as it goes. They're doing the same thing with the digital premium connectivity for iDrive 9. So again, $9.99 a month plus tax. So that's the same connectivity as Tesla. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or bad thing, but one thing I can say is at least it uses 5G networks. Tesla, to my knowledge, still doesn't use 5G networks, although they did kind of hit the Cybertruck out of the ballpark with their 48 volt, standard system in the car instead of 12 volt, and of course, yeah, 800 volt architecture. But of course, we're going to be going to 800 volt architecture with the next 6th generation EVs for BMW, and I look forward to that very much. And yeah, APW, to my knowledge, there's no push at this moment for anything other than the X1 and X2 to get iDrive 9, because right now it basically has the same skin as iDrive 8.5 anyway. They're just doing the new connectivity services, which I think that's, I know basically everyone else in the market does it, so in that sense it's sort of like, okay, about time we did it. But the other side of that coin is the thing that made BMW better was we gave you 4 years of it before ever saying, hey, can you start to support the service by subscribing to it. So on one side of the coin, they're giving a lot of crap to you for completely free, remote services, all this stuff that literally everyone else, Tesla, etc., you need to pay for. Tesla after 30 days, everyone else ranges from 3 months, 6 months to a year of free connectivity, then you pay for it. They're doing all this stuff for free off the bat, which is awesome. And then, of course, again, the live traffic updates. Again, that's almost always in every single car a paid service. So you get it for free in BMW if you want to have it for free, which is awesome. Now, I wish they would extend it to 8 and 8.5, but, beggars can't be choosers, and we get what we get. But, we can still kick our heels and say, hey, I want to stomp a little bit here and tell you this is what I want, and this is what most people want. All 11 people currently watching. But, yeah. I know, bitching the price of car, but, I don't know. I'm still a firm believer that BMW, that what most manufacturers out there do great, BMW does spectacularly. So, when they say we're going to make an electric car, they made it still feel and look and function like a standard car. It wasn't funky looking, and yet somehow they took a standard car and made the drag coefficient very low. Is it as low as a specific EV model? No, but it's darn close. I mean, if I remember correctly, if any of you guys want, you can double check this as I'm going, but I believe the Tesla Model 3 is one of the most efficient ones outside of the Aptera 3-wheel electric car. That one has an insanely low drag coefficient of 0.13, which is awesome, and with a pretty small battery they can get 1,000 miles of range. Plus, you don't need a driver's license to do it, you just need a motorcycle license because it's a 3-wheeler, and it comes with all-wheel drive as an option. So that's a really cool car. I'm definitely getting that for my kids when it comes time for them to drive, because I don't want them to have a bunch of people in the car. But having everything else, it'll be cheaper to insure them because it's technically a motorcycle, and yeah. So that's a fun little side note. Anyway, sorry, I don't mean to go off BMWs here. But jumping back into my POS programming. Of course, this kind of went off the rails a while ago, but another thing that was introduced in the latest kind of news drop was BMW is now releasing the 5 Series plug-in hybrid, but it's no longer the 530e, it's the 550e. So it's running the same 6-cylinder and battery as the X5 50e, and that's in the XM. That's in the BMW XM. So that's awesome. Big battery. I'll be curious to see if it's going to get any better range than the other ones, because right now the X5 being the best with about 40 miles of EPA estimated range, that one's being 40 miles with a pretty heavy SAV. I'd be really curious to see going into a 5 Series. Of course, it's not a light car, but still lighter than an X5. So I wonder if it might be able to see anywhere between 45 to 50 miles. They haven't officially announced the EPA estimated range for that plug-in hybrid yet, but when they do, that's going to be huge, and I look forward to it. Again, my best guess is they might be very conservative with it and say 40 miles of electric-only range. I would love for it to be closer to 45 or 50, just because, come on, let's knock the pants off some of the other plug-in hybrids. And I know that some people that might be watching this are saying, well, plug-in hybrids are kind of BS because it's not a good car and it's not a good EV. And at the same time, you're right, and yet you're wrong at the same time, because for some people, that's like the perfect car, and it gets, depending on how you drive it, where you are, you actually get better gas mileage and have less normal maintenance, even though, yes, plug-in hybrids have, it's basically a gas car with a heavy battery, or it's an EV lugging around a motor. So in that sense, yeah, they're not the best of either world, but they're also the best of both worlds at the same time. And obviously, the more they can expand their plug-in hybrid range, the more it might dip people's toes into EVs. And as they start to push more and more EVs going forward, it'll be easier for people to make the transition and just feel more comfortable. Now, personally, I don't think that anyone that's currently driving a gas car is going to fully commit to a full EV unless you're insane like me, or unless they start seeing ranges closer to about 350 to 400 miles. I think once they start to see that, and we switch to the 800-volt architecture, and charging then takes 18 minutes to go 10 to 80 instead of 30 minutes, I think that's going to be a big change and a lot easier for some people to swallow. Because, let's face it, there are always people out there that are going to say, hey, at the end of the day, I just like going, I can fill up my gas tank in about 5 minutes and be back on the road and have 450, 500 miles of range. I completely understand that. In some sense, I agree. But in case you guys didn't know, as another kind of random side fact, the EPA and IIHS both basically came out with a study for 2023 that basically said that the average drive basically of drivers in the US went from 32 miles to about 41 miles a day, which is awesome. But think about this. The worst battery size EV that BMW makes, which is the 32 kilowatt hour, which you don't even get to use 32 kilowatt hours, it's 27 kilowatt hours of usable range or usable battery pack for the Mini SE. And that thing is like a small 181 horsepower, front wheel drive car. I've owned 2 of them. I love them to death. They were perfect for me until I had 3 kids, and then I can't fit 3 kids in the back, so no longer good for me, so therefore my i4. Anyway, benefit of that is that was the perfect example of why I got rid of my Tesla Model 3 standard range for a smaller battery, smaller range car. Because at the end of the day, my range in the Mini was better than my range in my Tesla. So it was a better battery technology. When it came for the actual heater, it was a heat pump. My Tesla at the time was not a heat pump based one. It was 2019, so it was before the heat pump was an option. And in the cold weather, I still got 110 miles of range out of it. My Tesla, which was supposed to get 240 miles, I was lucky to see 106 miles in the cold. So part of that was because the previous owners were horrible with it, and the other part is it was just not as good a car for my particular drive. But neither here nor there. All right, so back to these goodies. Let's see. Ooh, Jason, I have a 2024 BMW iX xDrive 50 and love it. 8.5 operating system 2. Is there any plan to make personal in my mode more customizable, not just colors? So at this moment, there's nothing that I've heard that they're going to do with that, which again I find completely foolish, because the whole point of personal mode, let's make all of it personal. I think the main reason for that is that they're trying to leave an opening in the future for M cars. So the one thing that sets M cars aside from the standard BMW cars and kind of M light cars or M performance cars, depending on when you start jumping into these vehicles, is that every other car with the very minor tweaks that you can make, they always make it so that the only way you can change certain things are in certain modes which have predetermined other things. So like for instance, sport mode, you have adjustable programmable things like, you know, traction control, steering, and engine setups. But you can't change your instrument cluster. You get the M Sport mode instrument cluster, and that's it. And then for comfort mode, that's where you can kind of do the most tweaking of colors and such, but you can't do other things. You can't tweak other stuff. So I think that if they're going to make this thing last long term, I think the best thing they can do, even though I know it's right now solely an M-car thing where everything is completely adjustable in any mode, and then you basically save them in M1 and M2 modes. I think that the second they make it more customizable, beyond just colors and your basic instrument cluster, I think that's going to make all BMWs, not just M cars, kind of come to the next level and really make that easier for maybe previous BMW owners to come back, or people that weren't into BMWs to then kind of come into the fold and make it a much more user-friendly experience for them. So I really hope they do that. I'm not going to hold my breath on it because, again, I think they like to make a little bit of a hierarchy to make it so like I don't know if you ever noticed, as a little side note to this, I don't know if you ever noticed, a lot of car manufacturers, especially German manufacturers, do the Apple model. Now, what do I mean by that? Apple, if you ever noticed, you can start with, say, like the base iPad mini, right? So you get the iPad mini, and then you're like, oh, but it's only 64 gigabytes. Oh, let me just move up to the, iPad mini with 256 gigabytes. Adds $200, dollars to it. Suddenly you're right on the edge of where the iPad starts, and you're like, oh, well, maybe instead of getting the mini, I'll get the iPad. And then you're like, oh, but the iPad starts with low storage, so I can get the next one. So basically, every little thing you get, it sort of just gets you right closer to the next thing. Like, for instance, the BMW X1 starts at a great price. You start to load that up. The second you have a fully loaded X1, now you're at the starting price of an X3, and you're like, oh, but the X3, I can either keep going up with the X3, or I can get a X1 M35i. Oh, that's the way I can go. And you know what I mean? So it's like everything sort of builds on top of each other, and it's just a stack thing where you can build out. Like, I don't know if you guys have tried this, but the new 5 Series, the 530, you can build one of those and put so many options on it, it becomes $82,000. That's almost $30,000 of options. That's a lot of options. And again, like the whole point of that is you could do that, and suddenly you're like, wait a second, I'm putting these options on. I'm right there. Instead of getting a 530, I can get a 540, and that comes with some of these options standard, and I could still get the things I want, and it's only $2,000 more. Like, that's sort of how they do it, and I think that's brilliant in one sense and highly annoying in the other, because I'm like, a little more differentiation means that there's more flexibility. But a lot of times, the second you start to get the things you want, suddenly you're looking at a different price bracket altogether, because everything costs more, which is one of the reasons why I still love the X1 and X2, because it gives you all of that for a much more affordable price, and still keeps it so you can jump into BMW quickly and easily. Alrighty, so let me go over my little thing right here. 10,000 subscribers, 6-speed Z4, new 4 Series, potentially what that means for the 3 Series, i5 xDrive 40, 2025 550E we went over. Oh, by the way, starting July production for that. So July 2024, the 550E will start production. So hopefully we'll be getting the actual EPA range estimates for that closer to around, hoping May, just because typically it's usually around 2 or 3 months before they actually go into production that they release that stuff. So look forward to that. We went over the iActivated lane change. Oh, we actually didn't fully go over that. So starting March of this year, iActivated lane change will be added to the iX, X5, X6, and X7. No word on whether or not it's going to be in the XM. I think probably because the M competent, so the X5M and the X6M don't get eye-activated lane change starting March. So it might be based on whatever system they're running with the S series engines. That might be its main thing behind it. Although the X5, X6, and X7 do have the M60 version, which is an S series engine without being an M. So I'm not sure if that's the actual reason for it. Oh, Kevin, yeah, dude, thanks for sticking with me. I know it's 3:45 a.m. where you're at. Appreciate you being with me, bro. Have a great night. Thanks for tuning in. Alrighty. Oh, another random thing that they're doing. This is going to come out with a BMW app update. They're going to start something called the e-mobility analysis in your My Trips. Now, this isn't for people that have electric vehicles. It's actually for the gas-powered cars, and they're doing this so you could actually see, based on your daily drive, would you benefit from an EV and how you would benefit right there in your My BMW app. So that would be an interesting thing for people when that comes out. And let's see here. There's that. They have a head unit update that's going to be giving a couple more features and make it a little more usable. They're going to be adding some new onboard navigation stuff, a little more information. For the EVs, they're going to be adding on navigation screen information about chargers. They say it's a star system. I'm not sure if that means that it's going to be based on how many spots are available or how fast it is. Maybe like 5 stars is like a 350 kilowatt charger, and like 1 star is a 24 kilowatt hour charger. I'm not sure how they're going to do it. But according to this, that's something about stars on it. I'll look more into that when the update actually comes out, so we can see exactly what it is they're doing and let you know from there. It will give you better things on charging stations, and they're updating basically how the My BMW app will be doing route planning and how that integrates into the car, which will be, super awesome and great information. So out of curiosity, if I can, as of right now, I don't know if you guys know this, but I do this on my iPad because that's all I have at home. I don't have an actual computer. I'm doing a small push as of right now to actually make it so that in the future, as AR stuff starts coming out and AR integration for things like live streams start to become a thing, I'm going to actually save some money and invest in that for these streams specifically. Because quite frankly, how most people do live streams is they, of course, have, like us in the corner here, and you show like your computer screen over here. I can't do that on an iPad as of yet. Maybe they'll change that for Apple. Apple, if you're listening, please let that be a thing so I can start to show more on my live streams. Tim Cooks of the world, please. Anyway, VR setups. So if the integration comes out as I'm also an Apple developer, and one of the things that some of us developers are working on are actually how to integrate live streams with VR setups, so we can start to show you things in a virtual reality on a live stream. So instead of showing you, say, a screen itself, like the picture of whatever our screen might be, or kind of show our laptop screen during a live screen with our video in the corner. This will actually be an option to show our video and maybe have a digital version of ourselves in a digital space and be able to walk around as if it was an actual video studio with virtual icons. So I'd love to be able to do that. If we're able to integrate that kind of stuff in the near future, I'd love to show you guys things like real-time showings of iDrive 8 and 9 kind of side by side, because I'd love to kind of go over those things in a virtual reality or augmented reality kind of setup. So if that comes out soon, I would love to bring that to you guys and be the first person on YouTube to bring that to you. But until that happens, it's unfortunately still in the development stage. But if I'm able to figure that out, you guys will be the first to know, and I will do that. And hopefully that'll make this thing skyrocket to 100,000 subscribers, because that would be awesome. I want that. That's so cold. I want to put it back on. Please come back. Oh God, it's so cold out here. Whew. I need to get some insulation in this damn basement. As you can see, I have some really crappy one above me, but that's neither here nor there. Oh, fun fact. I have the old i5 thing as part of my ceiling. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, that's 55 minutes of a live stream, so that's a massive time. For all you guys that are with me from the start, you know, thank you very much for that. Thanks for being part of this. I am not tired at all. So I'm actually going to go and play some Lethal Company on stream. So that's what I'm going to do next. So if any of you guys are gamers, by all means, join me on stream, because that would just be an absolute blast. My stream name is Dunphy JP, so DUNPHY JP. Find me, friend me, go ahead, join me if you want. You know, love to play with you guys, even outside of a simple live stream. And again, guys, thanks so much for taking your time, being part of this, following me as long as you did on this. If you found this helpful, as always, like, comment, share, subscribe. You know, comment on this thing after it goes past live and becomes just a standard video on the channel. Appreciate you all. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have this channel at all, and you wouldn't make this channel what it is. Again, thank you guys very much for being who you are and supporting. So have a great night. Get some sleep if you want to, or join me on a stream, and we can play some Lethal Company in the meantime and just be complete geeks for the night. All right.